Good morning guys and welcome back to Bareham Engines. So it's Monday, we're back. Hope you guys had a really good weekend. I'm sorry I look a little bit tired. I did have both of my children yesterday on my own, age 1 and 2, although I wouldn't be telling my partner that it was the children's made me tired. But yeah, very tiring. Anyway, we're going to run you through the workshop today. We've got some machining processes that we're doing, including a massively bent manifold, worst one we've ever seen, so we'll show you that one. We've got some crank balancing, flywheel facing, etc. So yeah, hope you enjoy guys. Let's get out on the workshop.
Cosworth, I've just finished honing that, so this is at 0.5, just honed it. You see I'll go the half thou over. We're just going to let that cool now, and then we'll go back to that, and then that block can be thoroughly cleaned and give it a lick of paint, and that's ready to go. As you can see here, I still got, bear in mind it's Monday, this was going most of the day Friday, and you've got to do very small cuts because it's a bit of a Heath Robinson setup, but this is still going on the Monday morning. You have a look down there, another 5 thou, and that is 2 mil off this. Now I noticed a lot of you guys in the last video commented saying, look, you need to grind the webs, otherwise it's just going to run into bending again, which yeah, in theory that is true, but we've tried that before. We've sort of sliced down through the webs and they still bend like that. So a lot of the time, once we've faced them, you don't see them back, but then again, so hopefully 2 mil and that'll be pretty much done. See, you've got the back 2 corners there, which it still hasn't really cleaned at, but yeah, this is probably one of the worst ones we've had. So this Cosworth head, you can see over here we had a little bit of an iffy bit on the gasket line, so we just put a little bead of weld in there. Usually they go around the ports. You can see this one here isn't too bad, but I'm just going to give it a very light lick over, like a couple of thou. Hopefully that cleans up, and just make sure that all this corrosion, which, you know, visibly it looks worse than it is, but make sure that's away from the gasket line. If not, I'm just going to carve it out a little bit and stick some more weld in there. So I spoke to the customer about this Cosworth block. Just after that, I had a phone call off the chap that he bought it off, Stu Day. Very knowledgeable guy, knows his stuff, seems to know a lot about this, and apparently this is an ex-Mountune block. Pete Mason did the work, but basically these are a Nickersill liner, as I first suspected, but what I was more interested in was how they were fitted. So you obviously, it's machined down here, you've got sort of half of the liner that is smaller diameter to the top, and they sort of go in there, but I wanted to know really whether these were a slide in with an O-ring at the top, or whether they were a push fit, and Stuart said that they are a push fit. They were a sort of 20-ton fit, and then the liner was finished inside to suit, so I'm happy with that. If they're a pressing fit and we know they're not going anywhere, I'm still a little bit sort of concerned as to why this was left here, as you can sort of feel that. But what I might do is give this block a very light lick over. See, there's another little bit there, and then we know that we've got a nice fresh face. I've measured the bores, it's at a standard size, but I suspect that these have been finished with a torque plate maybe, I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm happy to use that the way it is. They're, you know, they're pretty good. I've tried all these studs in there and they all seem to go in, so we're just in the sort of process at the moment of deciding what compression ratio to go for and what length rod to go for. But I've got the customer to give Stu a ring and sort of have a chat with him, because I think Stu said he runs up to 9-to-1 on one of his cars, so it's up to the customer to just go and have a chat with his mapper and see if he'll be happy with that. But yeah, just waiting on that, and then I'll get once we've confirmed what we're going to do, I will get the pistons and rods ordered and the bearings, etc., and get this thing built up. So I'm just finishing the cut on this Cosworth head. Just lift it off the job, wrapping it over. Let's have a little look, see what we've got here. So This bit of corrosion here, what you can see, it actually looks on video a lot worse than it is. This is just visible, really. It's sort of, if you have a look down there, you're going to have to chomp quite a lot out and re-weld it. It's quite a lot of work for no reason. Yeah, we're well away from the gasket line, so I'm happy with that. You can see there's 2 or 3 little blow holes in that weld, so I think what we might do is just dig that out and just re-weld that. And of course there's a little bit there, look, so I think we'll redo that, and then once we've done that, it's all good to go. I'm going to solder blast these ports and the rest of the head, get the guides fitted, cut the seats, and that's all ready to go. So this is the crankshaft for the Cosworth that I've just done the head on. Just got to balance this the same as we do all the rest with the flywheel, the clutch and the front pulley. So this one was ground in the past. John has just polished it. I think it's 0.5 mil on the mains, 0.25 on the big ends, but it's absolutely perfect. No bend in it, all measures on size, so we're happy with that. So basically I'll run you through the balancing quickly again. We always balance the right hand side, then the left hand side, then we put the front pulley on, do that, then we put the flywheel on. Just going to show you in a minute what I'm doing with the flywheel. It's got to be faced, but we've got to get the bloody dowels out of it. So yeah, it's the flywheel and then the clutch cover. Don't worry about the plate, just the cover and all the relevant bolts. So first of all, we'll do the right hand side. We'll turn the lock off, and as I said to you before, this one sort of floats forwards and backwards, and it senses it, what angle, and shows you here the amount and the angle that it's out. So first of all, if we look at the amount is on 20. Doesn't actually mean anything, it's just when you get to know the machine, you sort of get to know what 20 is on whatever diameter and weight that you're working with. So you see over here on the angle, it's about 330 on the angle, 20 on the amount, which isn't a lot really, just a sort of little 2 or 3 mil deep hole. So we put the lock back on, stop the machine, put the brake on, and then we go to 33, which is 330 degrees, and then it is out on this level plane. We've got to take weight off here, so that's this side, which is on a very awkward angle, as you can bloody see, because there's nothing to take weight off there. So what we tend to have to do if it's on sort of on here is we take a bit of weight off here, then it may move round to here. So in effect, you're sort of taking weight off these 2 bits here. So we'll just grind a little bit off here and then see what it looks like. So you see we've got the amount down near 0, and it's sort of flapping about on the gauge, so which means it doesn't really know where it's out. So what I normally do is we go over to the other side now, we get that one in balance, then we go back to the front and just double check that. Sometimes it's a little bit out once you've done the other side, especially if the other side's quite far out. So that's good enough for that side. We're just going to go over there and check that one. So there's the TD5 manifold. We've had to face the head as well, which is over there. But as you can see, it's all clean now, and we actually had to take about 2.5 mil off that. So that is the worst one that we've had. Absolutely horrendous. So if we stop that, as I told you, we had to sort of take it off there and here. And what you find is, with balancing these, the further out the diameter you're taking the weight off, the less you have to take off for the same effect. So if we were sort of removing material off here, say for instance, with the same amount, you'd have to take off less than you do here. So the further in, the more weight you have to take off. So the right hand side, click that over to right, and you can see we're down at 0. If we click this over to left, with the left one out, and that is down at 0 as well, and sort of flapping about there. So we're happy with that. Down at 0, that's more than good enough. So I'm going to go over now to show you the flywheel and what I'm doing with that. So this is the flywheel. As you can see, we've got to give it a face. It's well and truly cooked. So you've got 3 dowels here, 1, 2, 3, and they never come out successfully. You see the ends of them here. They're a step dowel, so they're sort of thinner at the top as they are that go in. I think it's 8mm that's in there. So basically when you try and get them out, they just break. So what I do is centre pop them. It's very important, whatever you're drilling out, to get that centre pop right in the middle. I put a sort of centre drill, so what about a 3mm drill down the centre there, and then the bit bigger drill, probably 7.5mm, and just leave it a little bit in to sort of peel out. And then I'll order some new dowels from Burton rather than make them. They're about £2 or £3 each, so by the time I've made 3, it's half hour's labour, it's never worth doing. So I'm just going to get these out, then I'll face it, order some new dowels, and then we can get that one up and balanced. So we've got the dowels out. Once I've drilled, I forgot to say, once I drilled the dowels about 7mm, what I normally do is just run an 8x1 tap down there. You normally find once you've drilled the centre out, the dowel will start turning, and you just pull it out with the tap wrench. So we've got all 3 of those out. I'm just facing the flywheel, as you can see or hear. It's just going through the hard spots now. But I'm reckoning about 1mm off this, and it should be clean.
Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please join us Wednesday when we should have the bits for the V8 Jaguar. Also, we should have an update on the pistons for the Austin Healey 3000 engine. But until then, take care, guys. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment down below, and we'll see you Wednesday. Cheers, guys.